1996. As an 11-year-old kid, I sat in this very seat watching the Formula Ford Festival here at Brands Hatch. Mark Webber took victory and I had my family around me. We used to do it every single year and it was a really important part of my motorsport upbringing. Never in a million years did I think that I would be participating in a Formula Ford race on this Brands Hatch Indy circuit. Until now. I would be racing in one of the most competitive single-seater championships in Britain, still with considerable support from the Blue Oval. My rivals have been thrashing around the Indy circuit for months, some of them not even alive when I watched the chiselled Aussie wonder mount that podium in '96. The Formula Ford Championship of Great Britain is now in its 48th year and it's the only single-seater championship backed by a manufacturer in the UK. It can boast champions such as Damon Hill, Eddie Irvine, Anthony Davidson and Johnny Herbert, and even my hero, Ayrton Senna. The car has changed quite a bit since the early 70s, and the 2014 spec machine showcases the very latest in road car technology from Ford, starting with the engine. This 1.6 litre turbocharged EcoBoost engine is exactly what you find in the Fiesta ST and kicks out an awesome 197 horsepower. Coupled to its tubular frame chassis and carbon fibre crash structure, this car only weighs 475 kilos. And that's why it's the fastest single-seater junior championship in the UK. In the cockpit, I can just about see my Dunlop Racing slick tyres. In my mirrors, my fully adjustable aerodynamics. And of course, on my right hand, a 6-speed sequential gearbox. I don't even need to use a clutch. The electronics blip the engine for me. This was the first time I'd ever raced a single-seater, let alone a Formula Ford. I would need every little bit of help I could get. Too much wheel spin at the start from the powerful turbo, and going into the first corner, Louise went past. A few laps later, braking into Druids, and Greg Holloway managed to find a way through as well. My pace was well off. I could keep the car on the track, but as the laps grew on, I got tireder and tireder. Then the nail in the coffin. In a 25-minute race, the leaders came through to lap me. Poor pace, and P12 did not feel good. Tricky race, really tricky race. Just having the confidence to throw your car down Paddock Hill Bend at 110, 120 miles an hour has to come from your brain. And with only a qualifying session really in terms of experience, I don't have it in there yet, the confidence to just do that and know that it'll stick and know that I won't go back into the wall. There's no power steering, the G-forces are throwing me to the outside and it makes it this tough roller coaster. As I contemplated my fate, I should introduce you to my team. Richardson Racing is a family-run team put together to run son Andy, who is my driver coach and team manager this weekend, and Louise, who is my teammate. Dad Gwyn, the boss, and mum Lindsay look after other drivers when they can, and this weekend, it's me. There is a glimmer of hope for me this weekend. The car has an inbuilt telemetry system which tells my coach what I might be doing wrong. If we take Louise's best lap and compare it to mine, we can see why I simply can't keep up.
Just go to correct it a little bit, and you just be patient and wait, and you don't want to ever come off.
And now, to put all that into practice for race 2. A much better start, and for the first few laps, I could hold on to the cars in front. Progressive acceleration was the key, not getting too much oversteer out of the corners and accelerating down the straights. But then fatigue started to set in. The vicious nature of driving the car slowed my pace and I started to be passed. My brain couldn't keep up, my forearms ruined from the cramped single-seater, and again I dropped back to end the race P12. To take my mind off my plight for a moment, I wandered off towards the circuit to watch the British touring cars in qualifying. One of the greatest things about the Formula Ford Championship is it sits on the British touring car bill. and that means throngs of crowds, and bear in mind this is only Saturday, and also live television coverage, national TV coverage on ITV4. It adds an extra element of pressure though to the drivers, which means they have to deal with the media, interviews and television cameras at every point, spotting every single mistake that they make. And that adds pressure, but also develops you as a driver as you move towards Formula One. The crowd slowly depleted as the day drew to an end. Had I bitten off more than I could chew? I kept being haunted by my first moments in the car on a wet test day, punished by the turbo's power and stiff suspension. My confidence was shattered. Well, I thought there was a big crowd on Saturday, but there are throngs of people arriving here on Sunday morning. It really adds to the sense of occasion. Race 3 was to be broadcast live on ITV4, so 30,000 people at the circuit and then nearly 500,000 on TV were watching. Vital to the start of the race was warming the brakes and tyres to have confidence going into that first corner. Another great getaway, and with a staller to my inside I had a chance to hang on to 10th going through paddock for the first time. Suddenly, a new experience. The drivers around me snapping at my heels, flicking from wing mirror to wing mirror like a jet fighter in battle. I just had to try and keep Connor Mills behind, even if he did hit me. And then a crash. Ricky Collard and Max Marshall tangle, and the safety car was needed. It allowed me to catch up and have a small rest as well before the blast to the flag. I'd finished 12th again, and most importantly, improved on my previous pace. The car, so much fun to drive, and participating as part of the British Touring Car package, quite an incredible experience. I'd learned so much thanks to the way Ford have conceptualised the championship. It really is the best place to learn single-seater craft. I was bruised, battered, mentally and physically shattered, but it's an experience I'll never forget.